Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom, yeah.
Watch the pros. I just completely forgot to do an actual introduction. I'm trying to do some climbing content and document my climbing journey. And this video is going to be a vlog where I go through some of the climbs that I did in July, August 2024, and some of the thoughts that I had and the kind of approach that I was having at the time. So let's get right into it. Back in July and August when I was filming this, the whole reason I was filming it was because I was having a little bit of a burst of motivation. So I decided to film some stuff and do a couple of challenges and like hopefully progress a little bit in my climbing. And I think I'm on this journey of trying to decide what progressing means to me. And this was one of the first videos that I filmed, and me and my husband, we were just goofing around and we were having a lot of fun. I unfortunately had to cut a lot of the sound, but our conversations were so funny. But I had to cut a lot of it because, you know, there was too much gym noise. But yeah, anyway, so I was doing this challenge. I decided to do this challenge where I was like gonna do some exercises and stuff. And I was pretty psyched about getting a bit stronger. And then I lost a lot of steam. I also, another thing I wanted to do, I wanted to go 3 times a week climbing. And I just lost a lot of steam towards the end of this challenge, which is very sad. But I'm trying to kind of go into a bit what happened and hopefully learn something so that now that I'm starting to feel a bit motivated again, that I can use that energy a bit more positively. Yeah, so you can see here I'm getting a bit further. These holds were a little bit awkward, and I feel like I may have some, I would benefit a bit from some flexibility training in my hips here. A bit of brushing never hurts. But so I was saying that after each session I feel really hyped and I feel really good in my body, and I just feel like all my physical ailments are like dwindling, and that inspires me and that motivates me. But the minute I start feeling motivated, I reach a point where I'm like, isn't this kind of stupid? Isn't this kind of like pointless? I want to challenge myself to improve, like finding a way to be more intentional about it, kind of allowing myself to improve at something that's kind of pointless. So like when I reach this point where I'm like, it's kind of stupid, it's kind of pointless, so why am I getting hyped about this? Why should I care so much? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really, it is pointless. But on the other hand, like what else are we gonna do with life? Here, I'm getting past that hard point, grabbing that big one. That's quite far away. It was really, really deep, so it was kind of hard to get all the way in there. But yeah, I managed, and it was, I mean, this boulder was just so much fun. This gym, don't go usually to this gym that much. The way they set is very different to what I normally have. So, but yeah, I love this style. It's really fun. So this is an example of one of those climbs where I tried it so many times, and I was very proud when I finally did it. But I don't know, I just don't feel like I have very good memories about it. So on one hand, I'm kind of happy that I pushed through because I know that these moves are like 1% easier for me now. So maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth having a slightly stressful experience and actually learning something. But I definitely think you need to space them out and maybe mix them up with some treats and some fun. Here I am on a boulder that's way too hard, way above my level. I just wanted to try it out and play around a bit, and I made a tiny little progression actually getting on the boulder, so yay for that. Here I am on a boulder that's challenging my fear of heights. There was like a sketchy move at the top. I tried it a bunch of times, but I feel like this is a good example of one of those boulders where I managed my attempts a bit better. So I tried really hard, and I tried many times, but I tried across a few different sessions. So I would give it like a couple of attempts per session, and by the end of it, I could walk up and do it pretty much. And I kept repeating it for a few of the following sessions, just to kind of feel confident. And I think that's a really good approach, because it's not too intense. You get some fun at the same time. You know, you're not like hyper focusing a full session on like one move. And honestly, the pride that I felt after completing this one was so much better than some of those climbs where I just kept at it like a whole session. I think that's very personal, but that's just been my experience. Okay, here I am on another scary climb that I didn't really finish. That last move was super sketchy. I think that's like a nemesis for me generally, is scaring committing moves at the end of a boulder. I'm trying to show myself some grace. As this challenge progressed, I kind of got a bit tunnel visioned, and I would try and try, which is good, I think, sometimes. But it's not good, because now when I look back, all I can think about is how anxious I was and how I was really not having a good time. And even when I did manage to like send a boulder, it didn't really make me feel good. It made me feel proud at some level, I guess, but it also made me feel overwhelmed. So I think there's definitely a balance there. I'm practicing staying at the top of the boulder for a little while whenever I'm scared, just to like get accustomed to the feeling of being up there. You know, I feel like if I just stay another couple of seconds, even if I don't commit to making another move, it still helps the fear somewhat. So yeah, I'm practicing doing that. You can see also on this yellow slab that I am practicing just taking my time, and even though I feel like there's no way forward, I'm still practicing just staying there, and you know, just getting used to taking my time and being patient, and you know, not jumping down immediately when I don't know what to do. This yellow boulder I did end up doing at the end. I didn't catch it on video. I feel a lot of pressure when the camera is on. If I'm getting into that mindset of it's so important that I really need to like achieve something and I need to do all of the grades, otherwise I'm not good enough. Having the camera on makes me quite anxious, and it makes it very difficult to actually focus on what I'm doing. So I think what the biggest lesson that I've learned from this experiment is the showing up, is the working with my mind, it's being on that boulder in the moment, feeling scared shitless, and just trying anyway, a little bit. You know, that's the important part. And I think that's what scares me a bit when I'm feeling motivated, because I like this idea. If I have a plan, then it's almost like guaranteed. I've made the plan, I'm just gonna stick to it, and then for sure I'm gonna see like improvements or whatever. And like that, I think it's a fallacy to think like that. Here's a great example of a boulder that I would have not been able to do a year ago. This would have scared me so much, and here I am still feeling a little scared, to be honest. But you know, I've worked with myself enough that I can do it, and I'm incredibly proud of that. Here's a great example of the husband's directing. Here's another example of one of those boulders that I probably tried a few too many times in a row. Yeah, this was a super difficult one for me. The holes were very slopey. It was just, yeah, you had to be quite specific about your body positioning. Yeah, so I tried it approximately 1 million times, and I didn't really get that far, but I did learn a lot about body positioning on slopers that I've used a lot later, on later climbs, and I think that's been actually pretty valuable. So I can't say that I regret spending that much time on it, because I do feel like I learned a lot about holding onto slopers from trying that hard. So you know when you're at the top of a climb and you really want to send it, and all you can think about is that how you're at the top. So then you get nervous and then you can't actually do it because you stop being mindful. So I think that's kind of what's happening to me when I start being more intentional about climbing, is that I get a little bit too self-aware. I overthink a little bit too much what I'm doing and what my motivation is. And then I get a bit anxious, and then I get overwhelmed, and the overwhelm leads to a loss of motivation because I just burn myself out. And I know that this is a pattern, so I'm for this challenge, I was really trying to watch it, and it still happened. What makes me keep coming back to bouldering and what I truly like about it is not the sport itself. It's just the feeling of being empowered, of being physically fit, of doing something that I didn't think I'd be able to do. I like the idea of learning something. I like the feeling that I know I'm so much better than when I started. Not better in the sense like that I'm an amazing climber or anything, but better in the sense that I am so much stronger. I feel better in my body. I have conquered my fear so many times, and that feels important. Here I am on this boulder that's supposedly a 6A plus, which is so frustrating because the holds was so bad, and this committing move was really challenging. And I really, it was one of those that I hyper fixated on, and I just really wanted to get it. I had just decided that it doesn't matter how many attempts this takes, I am gonna get it. And I can't really decide with myself like if this is a good approach or not. I definitely think you need to not do it too much, because in the end you're just gonna like spend 2 hours doing this one move, and how much are you really gonna learn from doing this one move? I think you would probably learn more if you actually tried out a few different boulders, even if you didn't end up sending them. That said though, I do feel like this and another, I did 2 boulders this session, and both of them had sort of a little bit of like a stand-up move, and those I'm not really good at those. And I do feel like I'm marginally better at standing up and sort of dynamically going for a committing move after I drilled this for those 2 hours. So maybe it was worth it. I do feel like I'm like slightly better at it now, just a tiny bit. Maybe it's my subconscious not wanting to have to ever do that again. So it's like, okay, let's just do it so we don't have to keep practicing and drilling this stuff. Yeah, but there I got it, and I was so freaking happy about it. I was actually really, really proud of that, because yeah, it felt really impossible for some reason. But yeah, so it's the end of the vlog, but yeah, I have some calming footage now. We recently moved into a new apartment, and I just wanted to show some calming apartment footage. And also we dog sat